And now back to your regular programming.
If you speak better to yourself.
You showed up for probably the dumbest conversation we've ever had on this show.
Let's have that smile again.
Tell me how that happens. Physically should not happen.
Relax.
If you say
Give me as well.
3 times a day, God will line it up.
He's just an absolute hack, and he gets his ass kicked by his teammates every week. It's just terrible.
Welcome back to Hack City. Joe DeLeone, Sean Anderson, 2 former college football players from the University of Rhode Island. Today we're doing more 2025 NFL Draft perfect picks for picks in the top 10 of this draft. Draft is on Thursday, so any questions we get in the chat about the draft, we'll talk about it. We've got lots of activity from folks lately on some of these live shows that have been hopping in and sharing what they want their teams to do. The 4 teams that we're going over today, we're doing the New York Jets, Carolina Panthers, the New Orleans Saints, and the Chicago Bears. And then we're going to wrap things out before we get to Down Bad Dudes. We are going to talk about a story. Or no, sorry, I'm already getting off track here. We are going to talk about Aaron Rodgers, an update on a story that I read on CBS Sports, a quote from an article from a podcast. This is 2025, you can't tell, of a conversation that a reporter had separate from the podcast. But it's a very interesting quote that plays into all the drama that we've been covering with Aaron Rodgers. At the end, though, Down Bad Dudes, I've got a really funny story that I overheard at dinner that I teased on last show. If you haven't done so already, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And Sean, can you share with our listeners a quick word from our friends over at Bet Online?
Happy Earth Day. Are you going to say it back?
Do you want me to respond to
Say
that?
Happy Earth Day.
No. Don't tell me what to do.
The nice people at Bet Online would wish me a Happy Earth Day.
Did they?
They would.
A little something.
All of the sports that you would love to bet on involve the earth, Joseph. Turf, dirt, grass, open skies.
Well, I'd argue the sports that are played on turf are not played on the earth.
The earth is so great, we decided to
Basketball is not played
have
on the earth.
Indoors. Where's hardwood come from?
Trees.
Yeah, that's earth. Thank you, earth.
Where does artificial turf come from?
Artificial turf, and if you're betting on baseball that's playing on artificial turf, maybe in college, if you're betting on the NBA playoffs, head to Bet Online. Artificial turf is such an homage to the earth itself that we said, we're going to play this sport indoors because the earth sucks so much. It's so cold and windy outside and raining all the time.
Sure.
That we're going to have earth indoors. That's how much we like it.
Earth indoors.
That's what we got going. Bet Online. All the sports that you want to bet on. All the lines that you need. I haven't checked on it, Joe, but RIP Pope Francis. I bet Bet Online has odds for the next assuming Pope. Of course they do. You know why?
They do.
Because they cover all the bases. Not even a baseball pun there. They cover all the bases on the wagering that you want. Bet Online. Tell them the Hack City sent you. Oh, the game starts here. Is the tag offline?
It's not a very good draft class for the Pope this year, by the way. There's not a lot of depth. There's just not that generational guy that you can turn to. I think that there's going to be a lot of quality starters. I just don't know if there's really that this is the pick.
We're wondering if the next Pope can actually make it to that late stage in his career and be poping it up in 90.
I feel like Pope Francis, everybody knew. You knew coming out when he was coming out of college, you just kind of knew hey, this is the guy. This is going to be the guy when we needed the next Pope. And I believe the Pope before him didn't even die. He just stepped down. But Pope Francis had that Tom Brady in him where he just kept going until the wheels fell off, quite literally, and J.D. Vance killed him. But yeah, we don't.
What is wrong?
We don't have that generational talent though. That I think that we can. Where's the Trevor Lawrence this year? Where's the Caleb Williams? Where's the Drake May?
I don't need a Trevor Lawrence Pope.
Where's the Matthew Stafford? The Sam
Matthew
Bradford?
Stafford Pope would fire me up. That would be good.
Yeah.
I don't need a Trevor Lawrence Pope. What is that?
Oh, I forgot that you don't like Trevor Lawrence.
I forgot you glaze Trevor Lawrence for no reason.
I think that he's better than you give him credit for how hard it is to find a good quarterback in this league.
The Jaguars are still looking for one.
It really pisses me off that you do this. Of a fan of a team that just had to deal with Daniel Jones for the last 5 years. I would kill for Trevor Lawrence right now if that trade. By the way, did you see this? We're going to get it. I know that we're getting derailed. I should have sent this to you. Pac-Man on his show.
Oh yeah,
I had this. Did you see this clip?
I saw. Here's the thing. I didn't
This
have
is on the bet. He does a show for Bet Online, and it is a part of Bet Online's network that I only see Pac-Man clips for it.
I didn't have the time to fully indulge Pac-Man today, but I saw that he was making the rounds.
It was a very AI generated clip, and the clip was him explaining why his sources, while he was smoking a blunt, while telling us this, that the Jaguars are actively trying to trade Trevor Lawrence. That was a new one.
Yeah, go ahead.
They want Shedeur Sanders, apparently.
They can do better. Shedeur Sanders will be better than Trevor Lawrence.
There was a really disturbing AI-generated Shedeur Sanders in a Jaguars uniform. It was very off-putting.
You know what? Do you think Pac-Man is so high that he thinks it's real pictures? Do you think with the big ones?
I'm not gonna say.
I love Pac-Man Jones also. I think that he
was a great guy. I got to work with him. Sometimes he was a good guy to work with. Sometimes he was a little difficult. I don't think he remembers me at all.
He's got his own little niche in the sports media world, and I'm happy for him. He is an interesting dude, not a perfect permanent record dude, but an interesting dude to follow and track and see where his brain goes. So I'm glad that he is in the space. And it's not a traditional athlete podcast also. It's
I don't know what it is.
Pac-Man Jones.
I don't know what it is.
With a microphone.
It's Pac-Man Jones and some white dude that just, plug in random white dude.
Where do I get the some white dude job? Where do you get it?
I don't know if either of us fit.
Do we need to stop doing shows with other white dudes?
We're not generic enough. I don't think either you or I are generic enough to be one of those guys, though. Oh. All right, we have actual shit we're going to talk about. So we already started doing this perfect picks for the NFL draft for teams in the top 10. We did this for the top 2 through 5 for those picks. Go back and listen to Tuesday's show if you missed it. Starting with the New York Jets. The perfect pick for the New York Jets would be Sean. Who is it?
Tyler Warren. The Jets have a ton of holes, and you could say, Sean, they need this instead of a tight end. I would typically agree, but Tyler Warren is such a one-of-one tight end, in my opinion, watching him play so much this year that he cannot be a detraction from the offense on any play that he is on the field. He is a great blocker. The Jets need help with that. They can't always nail the offensive linemen. They can't always nail the tight end draft picks. But when a no-brainer crosses your dash and you have a guy that can score what I would believe 12 touchdowns a year in the NFL with his just catching ability, route running, and athleticism, and he can set an edge, and he can work up to a linebacker and help that run game out. If we're doing this 3 running back system that the Jets have proposed, you need a tight end that can get on the edge and block while also being a threat in the passing game. You don't need some big donkey that's just going in and blocking, because that just tees up run play for the defense. Tyler Warren, a tight end that could sell a block, boot on a nice crossing route, and then catch a big first down. Use him in play act. Just don't take him off the field. It is a winning pick for me, and I could have put Tyler Warren on any team, but the Jets need some semblance of normalcy and consistency. Tyler Warren provides that.
I feel like also for a very long time, the Jets are one of those teams where it just feels like offensive weapons in general, it has been a void. Like for the last 20 years, we could probably count on our hands of just above average starting running backs, receivers, and tight ends that they've had on this team. When was the last time that they had a super dynamic tight end that is as impactful as Tyler Warren? So I like this pick. I mean, this is a really strong, easy pick because Justin Fields, you want to give him somebody to work with that you just paid him this money. He's got a 2-year deal. He's not getting paid a whole lot, but you want that to pan out so you don't have to come back next year's draft that has some quarterback questions of itself. You don't want to show up thinking, oh, we're going to find our guy, and then he's not there. Give him a chance to fail before you can move on from that. And the way you do that is you equip him with weapons. The way that I see this, though, is in the same approach. I think that the pick's got to be Will Campbell. Last year, you drafted Olu Fashanu, who's high upside, who has a lot of potential. He's going to get his chance to start this year. Tyron Smith's out. They need another tackle. I think that when you've already drafted the traitsy offensive tackle prospect, you need to go with the high floor, technically refined player. And that is who Will Campbell is. He is the most technically refined guy in this class. Between his ears, he is one of the brightest offensive lineman that you're going to find in the NFL the minute he's in the NFL, because he's so nuanced in knowing how to counter whatever an opposing edge rusher is doing. He can play any spot on the offensive line, is also a huge benefit for him as well. So I think that Will Campbell we need to continue to bolster this O-line. The way that your team, it gets out from the cellar. Look at any of these teams that went from being absolute shit, just consistently awful, to competitive.
Yeah.
The Lions are a perfect example of that. They started building around their offensive line slowly but surely.
Started with Ragnow. When they drafted him, it took off.
With Decker as
Decker
well. And
also,
then eventually it rounds out with Penei Sewell. And then look what, after all of those years of just taking linemen, what it set them up to do. I mean, heck, I think another good example. I know the Browns are bad right now, but when they were, for that spurt of time, they were drafting offensive linemen. They were signing free agent offensive linemen. They were contributing to it. That helped them for that short spurt of time where they were in the playoffs and in playoff conversations, was because they invested in the O-line. I feel like so many teams are cart before the horse. They don't want to actually build the foundation. They just want to succeed. And it's so stupid and short-sighted.
You're softening me up and buttering me up here with a nice Will Campbell start to all of this discussion.
Okay.
It's strategic. I appreciate it. You have an ally for the next pick. Just letting you know that this is you said a lot of nice things about Will Campbell.
Why do you think my next pick is problematic?
I'm just saying. No. Your next pick's good also. I'm cool with your picks. Maybe not the last one, but cool with your picks. And
oh, your last one's horrible. I just read what you put down.
I'm sure it's horrible.
All right,
I'm sure.
Let's get to this next one. We should have done the Falcons, so I could have pissed you off.
What would you have said for them? Just
for the Falcons?
Yeah.
Well, whenever I do that spot on the that radio, the Atlanta station that I go on every couple of weeks, I have been saying Micah Williams, James Pierce Jr., Mike Green. Anybody else is a waste of a pick.
Do you know I might have a draft spot this week?
What does that mean? Somebody booked you on a draft?
I might have a draft spot. I'll tell you after the show. It's not locked in yet, but is it
on the network you're employed by?
No.
Who reached out to you?
I will tell you after the show.
It's
not on concrete. No. I'm not going to jinx it. But I am pleased to now not be the only draft guru in this house.
Put
some respect on my name.
Who is it?
Put some respect on my name.
Who is
man.
it?
I'm not breaking this source until I get the Zoom link. I'm not doing that yet.
No. Is it somebody big?
I'd say they're big.
Is it a big station or is it a big host?
Big host.
Is it something that you and I have interacted with?
No, I don't think you've interacted with him.
How did you get on this?
I got a text. Yeah.
How did they find you?
What is this? Don't worry about how I'm getting found over here. No. Don't worry.
No, because you don't put out draft content. I
do put out draft content. We've done draft for the last month on this program.
I'm just generally, I'm curious. You have legitimately piqued my curiosity. You can't drop something like that and then not tell me.
Well, I think we could keep on letting the two draft gurus mix it up here.
You're a jackass. All right, Carolina Panthers, the perfect pick for the Carolina. Let me start that over. The perfect pick for the Carolina Panthers in the 2025 NFL Draft would be?
Jahad Campbell is my perfect pick for the Panthers. The Panthers desperately need a quarterback on defense. They have been a raft in the middle of the ocean that has had very talented defensive players. And they need a linebacker, a true middle linebacker guy like Campbell to anchor that defense, to be able to call the shots, to be a leader. When I see Campbell play football, he immediately makes me think that is a signal caller on defense. That is a guy that I want filling the A gap. You fill the A gap, you get the respect of the rest of the defense. Now the defense is flowing. Carolina could trade back from their pick to get him. It would be a reach to take him immediately at the pick that they're at. But they've done the edge rusher bit. They've done the defensive back bit. They've drafted the offensive lineman in the first round. I know people would want to protect Bryce Young some more. That's great. I saw great strides from him, but they need a leader on the defense. And a lot of these defensive linemen and edge rushers, character concerns, don't know about the leadership capabilities. There's at least in the rumor mill a little bit of buzz. And lately, when there's smoke, there's fire with the edge rush guys. Chase Young had concerns about his work ethic, flamed out in Washington very quickly. I am trusting a true hard-nosed linebacker to change the culture of the Panthers defense, because It's going to have to be the players that do it. They got a dumb dick head coach, and they're going to need to keep on rallying.
All right, no, that's one way to round that one out. Didn't think that was the direction we were going.
We're going to punch at the end of the line there.
Okay, I think that Campbell it accomplishes what the goal is here with the Panthers, which is getting more athletic and more explosive on defense. I don't hate this. I think that if Campbell wasn't coming off of an injury, he was in a. I don't know if I'm mixing him up with somebody else, but because there's so many damn guys that were top 15 locks, it felt like, that now have injury problems. I think he was one of the guys that was in a sling in his pro day. So he didn't test, and he's kind of been in purgatory right now for what's going to happen with him on draft night. But if the draft occurred a week after the NFL Combine, him going this early to the Panthers, I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't put it past him if he ended up going in the top 10.
I think that's fair. I think the injury concerns are fair. But I remember this past year watching on this couch, Campbell was one of the few guys that made me go, damn, that's a hit. Or who is that? Who's that number? I remember asking you, Joe, who is that? And you would tell me, Jahad Campbell. And yeah, bang. He was just all over the field.
It's actually very funny. Me and him, when Ryan and I were still doing the first team, we were doing this thing where we would watch. You're gonna pour that into your microphone. We were doing this weekly segment where we would watch a game and then we would highlight the guys that stood out to us, and then we basically pitched like who we thought looked good. And the two guys that I pitched before they were on real radars for the draft this year, after week one against Wisconsin, no, not week one, week two against Wisconsin, I said, Jahad Campbell looks really freaking explosive. Like, he really caught my attention. I'm curious what happens with him this year. The other one was Jalen Walker, who I really liked, but then that one got really carried away. The expectations for him got really carried away. A lot of people and a lot of Panthers fans want Jalen Walker to be the pick. I don't like that for a Panthers team that just doesn't have the supporting cast right now.
Yeah.
Like, I want Jalen Walker to go to a team that has a couple other edge rushers or one other edge rusher, a couple good defensive tackles, and then you throw him into the mix. And
then he's the speedy rookie that's making plays all over the place.
If he made it all the way to the Ravens, which is not going to happen, or if the Ravens aggressively traded up for him, which again is not going to happen, that would be the perfect destination for him to land with, because they know how to use guys' skill sets perfectly for certain situations. I think that with the Panthers, though, like if he's expected to be their top rusher,
can't happen.
He needs to learn how to use his hands better. He needs to learn how to actually go from being this hybrid blitzer to an actual stand-up pass rusher.
But why would you change that when he's already when you're coming out of college that polished at one thing?
But he wasn't polished at one thing. He was like blending between the two, and that's what my big issue is with him, is that he's not well-rounded at either. He's got bad eyes to play off-ball at linebacker, and he has no hands to play as a pass rusher. That's why I think that the perfect pick for the Carolina Panthers would be James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee. Now, he's one of these guys that has character questions, character concerns about if he's actually bought in and is motivated, the Chase Young that you just brought up. But I think that he is such a smooth pass rusher, and if there was a player who in year one maybe hits his ceiling and doesn't exceed it, I think that Pierce could at least have an immediate impact and be a productive rusher.
He is fantastic. His length always drew me to him watching Tennessee. He just looked...
Yeah, I bet you loved his length.
It was like watching... What is wrong with you? Where would that even come from? Yeah, I just cannot fathom the reaction that I would get had I decided to interrupt with not an A+ comment like that during a draft analysis. Don't worry, I'm gonna get my lick back on that one. James Pierce Jr. He'd be fine. He'd do just fine. Okay. Excited to see him. He'll annihilate Michael Penix Jr. in the pocket.
Probably.
Then we get to start Easton Stick. Awesome.
Are you excited about Easton Stick?
Duke's put me onto the domino that Easton Stick, signed by the Falcons, might be their backup next year, which means that they're moving on from Kirk. So Easton Stick might be the first domino in the Kirk
Cousins. That's a good point by him.
Yeah, I saw Easton Stick got signed. Okay, gotcha. And I didn't even connect the dots. He did, and I'm like, okay.
I didn't even think of that either. Yeah. I keep forgetting that Kirk is on the Falcons.
It's perfect.
We bring it up once a week, and I keep forgetting that he's on the freaking Falcons. All right, let's move on to the next team. The perfect pick for the New Orleans Saints, a team that you hate. That perfect pick for the Saints would be
Will Johnson. And that is the most hateable pick for me because I love Will Johnson so much as a player. If you ask me straight up, Sean, who do you think is the most pro-ready, polished athlete football player to enter this draft that has looked the most like a professional in his tenure in college? That answer is Will Johnson. I haven't seen a flaw with his game. I'm not concerned about the injury bug. Not one bit. This dude is a lockdown corner, as good as Surtain, as good as Stingley. Anybody that's been coming up in this new wave of strong, super twitchy, quick defensive backs, especially at corner, Will Johnson fits that, but he's also rangy and long and buttery smooth. And it's the complete nightmare pick for me because I love him so much. And the Saints taking him would crush me because I hate the Saints. I loathe the Saints. But he would shut down half the field. Drake London would have 2 catches for 15 yards, and he would win ball games. He would take opposing 1 receivers and humble them. This is a guy I don't get like this often. I will be erratic and hyperbolic a lot. But for actually like pounding the table about a football player, Will Johnson is that guy for me. I'm standing on the table. If I'm in the war room and nobody's taking me seriously, I'm getting butt naked for Will Johnson in that war room. This is how serious I am. Look at this. You think I'm doing this if I don't believe it?
I don't know how I
start getting rock hard.
I don't know. I don't know how long you last in a war room.
Hey, you got to get your point across, or else you're just another guy. And then I'm doing.
I was inviting you to stand on this table. Do you think that this table would be able to keep you up?
I put this table together. I think I'd know where the actual pressure points would be.
I don't know how
I'd stand right in the middle, right there. I'd have all those joists helping me out.
And I would watch as all of the court tiles of the table fold in as you stand in the middle.
I'd be standing on the table, and Joe's camera would just start panning down.
My perfect pick for the Saints would be Shamar Stewart. I really like the Will Johnson pick for what you're saying because they just traded away Lattimore. You need a new lockdown guy on the outside. The injury stuff, I just don't know if that's going to impact the decision-making there. Is that something that's a late smokescreen? Is that something that's actually late steam? Do teams want him to fall because they want him to fall into their lap, or is this actually an issue? I think that Shamar Stewart, I look at this defensive line and I see a lot of guys that are higher floor and that do some nice things. Like, Chase Young is not as productive as we all hoped he was going to be. Isaiah Foskey is a decent player. Brian Brzee is a quality player. We need some freakish athleticism coming off the edge with that group. There is success to be had with the group, but because there's just no monster that can pick up speed in an instant and that is just going to wreak havoc, it's not as threatening as it could be. They were one of the worst teams last year at getting after the quarterback. They need something. I almost, when I look at these teams that need pass rushers, I think that there needs to be a unique approach when discussing these. A team like the Falcons, they need sack production. They need a guy that can actually go out there and get sacks. Maybe you take a little bit of a concession by drafting a guy that's not as good of a run defender. Maybe Donovan Ezeraku from BC ends up being the pick for the Falcons because they just need a damn pass rusher.
I want Mike Green, please. Come on, man.
The reason why you want him though is whatever. I think that Shamar Stewart in this circumstance, when was the last time that they had a jacked up, just super athletic edge rusher? I guess Marcus Davenport, who didn't work out.
Yeah, but he didn't work out there. Like Cam Jordan has been their best pass rusher over the last decade, and he's aging. He would be a great mentor for Stewart.
Exactly,
also, it would be. They would become best friends, and I truly believe we'd see having to know so much about Cam Jordan because how much I personally have to loathe him. I know he would take that big brother role and absolutely coach him up, absolutely get him right. Best friends, Stewart attached at the hip. It's great. Like this is something, if I'm a Saints fan, I want a younger defensive end to come learn under the most prolific pass rusher in team history. It's a good pick, Joe. That's fine. That's fine with me.
All right. The Chicago Bears, what would be the perfect pick for them?
The perfect pick for the Bears. They're helping out on the pass rush. They're drafting Mike Green. That is what the Chicago Bears are doing. You got great production. There we go. Out of Montez Sweat, fantastic trade a couple years ago, diminished last year. Everyone's thinking about the offense. Everybody's pitching offensive weapons. How do we help Caleb? How do we help Caleb? You got to help him out. I'm not going to ignore that. But you're getting the Bears are starting to teeter in that lost in the sauce zone where everything is going into the offense. I know they signed Grady Jarrett. That's great. And they're trying to get offensive linemen. You cannot just be, we're pumping everything into this quarterback and hoping for it. You need to keep on rounding out the team. The defensive edge rush and the pressure rate, not great in Chicago. Get an alpha. Get a just absolute alpha on the outside. Help out the offense. Stop a couple drives because Caleb Williams is still a young quarterback. It is still an unproven team. There will be growing pains with a first-year head coach and a second-year quarterback who struggled in year one and now has another new coach. Help the guy out with a good defense. The Bears are better when they have a good defense. The Bears brought Mitchell Trubisky to the playoffs with an Eddie Goldman-led defense. You can replicate that, but with a quarterback that is capable.
My only pause with that is I think that would be a fine pick. I'm not in. I like Mike Green. I'm not in on him being a top 10 pick. I think that some of these other edge rushers have higher ceilings and
they're all
bigger
boring
plays against better competition than what Mike Green was going up against. I would argue like that has Marcus Davenport written all over it. Just a guy who's did great things at the G5 level, but then our expectations are way too high for him and it doesn't end up playing out. Come on, we got to admit here that this is the perfect pick. Ashton Jeanty for the Bears would absolutely be their perfect pick. Now, I have a fear that he's not going to be there. I think that Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson need to trade up. I think that they need to go get him. It is so simple. This is the stupidest, easiest analysis that we could possibly do. You have a head coach coming in, taking over a young core with a quarterback who needs to take a step forward, an improved offensive line, a dynamic receiving core. But the head coach that you just hired built his success by being an incredibly creative play designer with running the football. And you have the chance to have a home run threat, a bigger home run threat than what Jahmyr Gibbs was. Ashton Jeanty's potential is higher than Jahmyr Gibbs. Imagine if he had the chance to work with him. Caleb Williams would have such little pressure on his shoulders. He would have no pressure on his shoulders. And we saw how he handled pressure when it was all on top of his head. Ashton Jeanty or bust. Ashton Jeanty, no matter what, put it on the sticky note. Put it on the sticky note, Ryan. Put it on the sticky note.
What's my name?
No, Ryan Poles.
Oh God. I thought you were calling me.
No. I'm talking about Ryan
Jesus.
Poles.
It's fine. I agree.
Don't flatter yourself.
I agree with the narrative or the process of help the quarterback with a run game. I totally agree with that. Tired of watching Chicago mismanage the running back position and watching guys peter out after 3 seasons to only find better success elsewhere.
But forget that.
Tired of it.
Forget that.
They don't maximize that position, Joe. They don't maximize it.
They haven't had an Ashton Jeanty.
They had a David Montgomery.
He was a good player who was on a middling to below average team.
The Bears are middling to below average. They are.
This is the best roster that the Bears have had in the last 10 years. When did they go? Maybe longer than that. Well,
I'm not sure it's better than that Trubisky roster.
That Trubisky roster was not that good. This team has the potential to be much better than that.
It has the potential. I'm tired of them squandering the running back position. He will be, and you know what?
These weird tropes that you allow to hold you back. These tropes about certain teams.
I'm aware of that certain teams don't make things happen. That's what I'm aware of. I'm aware that it doesn't. They hold themselves back, Joe. They get caught in ruts.
Things need to change eventually.
Yeah, keep on trying to force the change, but stuff doesn't change. It doesn't. I will be, hopefully, 60 years old, coming off of a first heart attack, getting way too excited at the end of the summer. And then I hope
you're not coming off that heart attack.
I'll be in my hospital. I'll be in my hospital bed, and I'll be like, "Oh, well, I just paid $2,000 to watch my team play. They finally figured out how to get fans to watch their own teams." And I'll be sitting there, $2,000, click. I'll be watching Atlanta, and they won't have a pass rush, and they won't have had one for the next 35
You think
years.
inflation's going to be that bad by then?
I think we'll be lucky to be paying $2,000 to watch football when we're 60. I'm praying to God we're only paying $2,000.
You better get to feel like you're sitting in the stands for $2,000.
What if I told you it's only going to get worse quality wise?
Why do you
But we're
think
just
that?
going to, it just will. It has to. Because then we're going
You
to
can you can now only, for a fraction of the 2,000, for $100 a month, you can watch the game, but you can only watch it through a straw-sized hole.
we'll all be beamed up in the Vision Quest goggles, and
Sure.
iShow Speed and Nick Merckx will be the broadcasters, but it won't
They'll
actually
be narrating it, but you can't watch the game.
There'll be AI broadcasters also. It won't even be like them calling the game. We're gonna lose the plot. I love football, and we should all love football and be grateful to have it in the state it is right now. As flawed as it is, it ain't getting better.
All right, let's move on to next headline that we've got. Sean, we have had a wonderful time keeping up with the Aaron Rodgers drama. I was reading this article on CBS Sports. It was referring to a quote that was given from the Scoop City podcast by Mike Silver, who works for The Athletic. There's been a lot of great things that have come out of that show. And Mike Silver was talking about how Davante Adams had told him that before Rodgers' meeting with the Jets that we talked about last week, they had planned to go golfing. And then when they met after the meeting, Aaron Rodgers was very disheveled. They disrespected me. They did me dirty, was what it was.
Flew out on his own dime.
This was the quote from Silver, though. The second thing Davante told me was, I think Aaron wants someone to roll out the red carpet for him. That is what he is looking for. I'm not sure if he would consider the Steelers doing that right now. I'm not positive how Aaron perceives that or how the Steelers perceive that, but the Vikings clearly aren't. It felt to me like Aaron, based on what Davante said, would love to be swept off his feet. And look, he's a 4-time MVP. He's one of the greatest to ever spin it. I understand why Aaron wants to feel that level of intensity before he jumps in. So now it's all starting to make sense. It is the girl who is coming off of the breakup that is in her mid-30s who thinks that Prince Charming is coming, but is not realizing that nobody wants them. You'd be lucky. You're dealing with the scraps. No one is coming in to sweep you off your feet. No one is willing to do that. You are the last remaining option for the most desperate people left. That is what Aaron Rodgers is. So as we don't really have clarity on what the disrespect was in that meeting, it now makes sense. He is being over-emotional and oversensitive to the fact that nobody wants him so badly that they're begging and pleading him to come play for them.
I used to love this dude. I used to watch him.
I did too.
Excitedly. It would be a Sunday night in week 11, and you just kind of watch Sunday night games and enjoy that's the last football game of the day. Sometimes you get an Aaron Rodgers Sunday night game, and you're like, I'm in for one. You just felt it in the air. You just knew you were in for something special. This is not special.
It's gross.
This is not how you go out. This is a poor swan song, and you should just hang them up. You could salvage maybe a little dignity, but you're pulling a Favre, and it's almost worse than Favre.
This isn't a Favre. This is
it's like
desperate.
At
This
least
is
Favre
gross and desperate.
At least Favre had like the balls to retire and then unretire because I love the game so much.
Yeah.
Like at least he had that in him. Aaron Rodgers is just like, F you. I'm Aaron Rodgers. You're gonna do my bidding. Go screw. This is the NFL. You know how many players have come into this league and bled and sweat and given it all and had not a second chance? You know how many guys came in with and just absolutely busted their ass, and they were just not even looking for a red carpet. They were looking for an all dirt walkway covered in glass and rubble to walk on to get on a team. And you're looking for a red carpet treatment after 2 piss poor years with the Jets and all this drama and all narrative around you except for football and your ability to lead an offense. It is a really sad fall from grace the more that this drags out.
I reject the notion by Silver about like, oh, hey, look, I get it. He's one of the most decorated players to ever play quarterback in the NFL, that his ego is going to be different than most quarterbacks in this situation. But from what I had heard when he was coming out, the reason why he slid as far as he did was because he was the same person at the time as he is now. That he was the same level of jackass, the same level of entitled, the same belief that like, hey, everyone's going to bend over backwards.
Yeah.
And everybody wants me so badly. And then when that is not reciprocated and that doesn't end up being the result that he thought, it's shocking to him. And then he lands in Green Bay and he has to wait to play and all of those things. That it didn't go according to plan. I remember hearing, I forget, a former scout had told me that, I forget if it was him saying that it happened during his team's visit when it was with him, or if it was something that he had heard from another team's visit, that he showed up like in golf gear because he was going to play golf after the team visit with the team that he was going to visit with. Just overall entitled. And that has been in him his whole entire life. And just him being enabled by the fact that he's now in his 40s and has accomplished so much, the humbleness is taken out of him. You would think that there would be a little humility after the way.
There's the word.
Shut up. There would be a little bit of humility after everything that he just went through over the last 2 years.
And you know what? If you're MVP Aaron Rodgers throwing 48 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, all power to you. You're the smoking hot chick and no one can touch you. You're untouchable. But this is football. There's no facelift. You ain't getting a BBL. You ain't getting hair extensions.
Nope.
You're falling apart at the seams.
Maybe Aaron Rodgers should get a BBL. Maybe that would save him.
I don't think a BBL helps in football very much. I just don't. I think that the scouts
You
need
don't
all
think
natural.
you don't think he could generate a little more force?
No,
Wait, where do they get the stuff to put in your ass from?
Brazil? I don't know. I don't know that much about. Or maybe they suck the fat out of you and then put it into the ass.
Where does the ass come from for BBLs? Let's look that up.
Where does the ass come from?
Wait, transferring fat from other areas of the body, like the thighs, hips, or abdomen, to the buttocks. Maybe I should get a BBL.
You want to?
I mean, my ass could be a little bit bigger.
You don't have much of an ass. It ain't that juicy right now.
Yeah, I need a little bit more of an ass.
Getting that thing tonight.
I didn't know that that's what they were doing. I didn't know that was coming.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
What did you say?
Sorry.
What did you say? What did you just say?
That was ridiculous. I don't know. I had that. I turned off the valve there to stop it.
Well, what a better time to talk about our good friends over at Melon. Focusing on our heads here. I've been wearing this Melon hat nonstop. It has been such an amazing gift that we got last week. We wore golfing. It made it through a sweaty ass day of golf. This thing has endured workouts. It has endured the pickup in heat, me sweating through the hat, and it still feels like it's clean. And apparently, according to Blake, it is very, very easy to wash. My favorite new hat, and I've been wearing it nonstop. No sweat stains, no smell. Looks the same as the day that I took it out of the box. And I keep getting compliments, especially from Sean and other inappropriate comments from him. They also have a lot of different types of hats, and they have a thermal collection, a hydro collection with different levels of warmth or different levels of ability to wick away sweat, whatever it is. So if you're looking for a hat that is as tough as you, check out Melon. You won't wear anything else after you get one for yourself. Go to melon.com, melin.com. That's melin.com to put it to test yourself.
Joe, do you wash your hats?
Some of them if I don't wear them that often, no. But if I have like a golf hat or like an outdoor hat, I will. Why?
I was just wondering. It was a listener question that was texted to me.
Oh, was it from? Yeah, Ryan texted me during Rufino and Joe yesterday, and being like, "You don't wash your hats." It's such a weird. He's just jealous because he wants a Melon hat.
All right, get a Melon hat then, Ryan.
Yeah, get one.
We're wearing one.
Yeah,
I adore what these hats are able to endure. All right,
squished a fly on my iPad.
Next top.
All right, let's get to down bad dudes.
Dude, that's just gonna be there forever. By the way, that stupid little fly mark. This is a brand new laptop. I don't know. You sneeze once in your room away from your laptop, and the screen is destroyed forever.
Yeah, it's all over.
I can't. Make them easier to clean.
We've got an interesting one for down bad dudes today. So this isn't necessarily a story involving a dude. If anything, it is a down bad girl that is going through it. I was at dinner the other day at the spot called Bad Roman in New York with my brother and his fiance. We had a very nice dinner. The food was great. I got the chicken. If anyone goes there, recommend the chicken, the lemon chicken. Got the job done.
Not a ball knower's pick at a nice restaurant.
Well, I wanted to get some protein.
Don't go to a nice restaurant and brag about eating chicken.
What do you mean?
Chicken
is great.
It's great, but
I'm trying to eat a little bit healthy.
It's not what you order at a nice restaurant. It's a rube move.
Well, I knew
rubes eat chicken.
Okay,
at restaurants.
Screw you. Well, after I finished my chicken, I was really hungry, so I happened to notice the table next to me. Two girls in their early 20s, 22, 23 years old. They ordered a bunch of food, didn't eat any of it. So I was really distracted by that. Very distracted by that. Couldn't stop looking over at that table and realizing, hey, are you going to eat that? I wanted to say something. I really wanted to say something.
I wish you did.
But as I was distracted by the excess of food that was available for me to possibly take, I overheard the conversation that they were having. And one of the girls at the table was explaining a very interesting relationship with her boyfriend and her boyfriend's parents. And she was explaining that they had invited her to come along on a family trip. The parents of the boyfriend, and I need to preface this by saying that the girl was pitching this as if this was normal and that there was nothing wrong with this. Just was not like, hey, should I be worried about this? Was just straight up like, oh yeah, so this is what they told me. And the girl that was with her at dinner did not chime in because I think she was too afraid to tell her what was happening.
Yeah.
She was telling her friend that the family of the boyfriend had approached her separately and said, look, we really want you to come on the trip and we'll pay for your flight. But would it be okay if we paid for you to stay in a completely different hotel that is completely separate from us the entirety of the trip? That was like, I was so thrown off. I almost said something. I'm like, oh my God.
What?
How are you not completely, like, I would have been so upset.
Don't invite me then. Yeah.
Right.
Don't invite me.
Right.
I'm good. I'll pass. You want a family vacation? I'll pass. That's fine.
No. Forget. Read into this a step further, though. Read into that a step further.
Yeah.
They went out. The father of her boyfriend went out of his way to basically say, we don't want you near us on this trip, but we're just bringing you because you're dating my son. That is basically what this is. I'm just so appalled. I was like, we have to talk about this during this segment.
That's jarring. I thought you were leading me to cheap parents.
No.
We were going to have you pay for the resort and your hotel and stuff like that.
That would have been a far more acceptable thing to have happened.
I would say cheapness is almost more offensive to me than this.
The funniest part about this is 10 minutes before this, I was really listening to the conversation. 10 minutes before this, she was telling her friend how her boyfriend just received his large inheritance as well. That was a part of the conversation. So it went from that to talking about but I am so blown away by that maneuver, because why wouldn't the first thing, if you're the father, if you actually liked the presence of this girl, why wouldn't the pitch have been, hey, like, we're a little tight right now on finances, which is clearly not the case. Like, would you mind paying for your part of the trip? Would you mind paying for your hotel room? Why, or better yet, why the hell isn't she just staying with the boyfriend? They were in their early 20s. We're not talking 19-year-olds that were sitting there having dinner.
Did she? Okay, this is a very vague question that you probably won't have an answer to. Did she look religious?
No. We're in New York City.
There's religious people in New York City.
Not that kind of religious.
I'm just saying, all over the place.
This isn't Utah.
There's supposed to be good Catholics out here.
Yeah, but we're not.
There's a high Jewish contingency. There's all types of religions in New York. I was just a question.
It did not come off as a situation where it was a girl in a deeply religious relationship that could not share a room with her boyfriend.
Those parents want her out of that picture.
That's my point.
She must be a scumbag if they're thinking that she's in this thing for this inheritance and that no. My son is not going to end up doing this with you. So I think they're trying to pull some strings here. Maybe they're mega loaded and they have the balls to be able to do that. Normal people don't do that.
No. Well, okay.
Could you fathom that? Like, what would you say if you were the boyfriend in that situation? Like, to your parents about this?
I would say, I'm not coming on the trip. Like, if my parents said that to my girlfriend, I'd say, like, you automatically, if somebody who is dating a child in the family is coming along, it's just automatically accepted that they're getting paid for. Correct?
If one of the kids is dating in the family.
Yes.
Not dating a child.
One of the kids of the family is dating someone. The person that they are dating, you know what I meant.
Comes along, yeah.
Comes along. Their accommodations are paid for.
Yes, that is the proper protocol. And I would say that until you can manage that, buy a cheaper vacation or don't invite the person because it's more, everything else is going to be offensive. But it's standard operating procedure. Come on the vacation with us. All good. We're taking care of you. You're important to my kid's life. So you're in it. Not this. This is I've never heard this before.
I know
I've never heard this before.
This is why I had to bring it up. I was like, who does that? Who does that? The weirdest part about it, and I can't like fully articulate the tone of it, the way that she was pitching it to her friend was like, isn't that a little weird? Like, not like, oh, I'm so upset by this. Like, oh, isn't that a little quirky that they did that?
Oh, did the girl seem nice? Did she know?
She seemed very normal.
She pretty?
I didn't get a good look. I was sitting here and she was sitting there, so I'd have to have been like, I was too busy looking at the food.
I'll do that in a restaurant. I will glare down.
You were high as shit.
Hey. What are we doing with that there? That's not a lead-in. Yeah, folks, I will stare someone down happily.
We were at the sushi spot that we keep going to. It's turned into a favorite spot of Sean and I.
Yeah.
And we were coming back from the bar. We popped in. We bought a chocolate bar, which is still in the fridge from the local dispensary. Normal night. You take a bite of the
two bros eating sushi together
and eating some chocolate bar edibles. Normally, when you do those, it's like, I'm just gonna be a little chill later. That knocked me on my ass, but it hit us while we were eating dinner, and we were so high we laughed for 30 minutes over. Like, we didn't say words to each other, but some guy walked into the restaurant and was entering a group of people.
They were annoying also.
They were very
annoying.
They were very loud and annoying. But Sean almost stood up and open mouth stared at these people for a good 30 seconds.
Well, here's the thing. If I'm in that state, it's kind of like how I operate with money on vacation. It's Monopoly money. Like, if I'm in that state, I'm like, no one's messing with me. Like, all the social, like my protectiveness and trying to be very, very courteous and not bump into people. Like, that all goes by the wayside, and I will gawk and happily gawk. It's the best. It's up. It's very close people watching, which makes them uncomfortable.
See, I'm the opposite. If I feel like I'm high, I'm like automatically like, oh man, I need to tamp this down. We got to calm down. We got to start talking real normal.
No. I'm gonna give these people something to think about later. Did you know that guy? No, babe. No, I never. I don't know we can't go there anymore. Perfect. Stay out of my nice sushi spot. Want some more gyoza?
God.
Gyoza at night.
I want to go back there again. All right, 201-834-4308. Call in. Comments, questions, concerns. Still waiting for somebody to call from the toilet. Call in, leave a voicemail. This is the Hack Bag.
The mail never stops.
This is the Hack Bag. Hit us on Twitter for questions or call at 201-834-4308.
Did I not give you enough of a warning?
No, here's why I suck. I was trying to put in a timestamp, and then it's like, oh, well, Joe's leading it in. I have to hit the production. I'm not operating on the right plane right now. Out of my elements, but let's get to our first voicemail from the Hack Bag. 201-834-4308.
I'm afraid of this one.
Yes, this is Bobby Boucher, and I was wondering to Mr. Joe why he thinks that Will Campbell has short arms and he can't play left tackle in the NFL. You know, Will Campbell reminds me of
Did
my
you listen to
favorite
this?
wrestler, Captain Kano. He shows no mercy. Why does Joe hate him so much? Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate that.
Okay, well, that was obviously Blake. That was actually a really good impression by Blake.
That was a nice Bobby Boucher.
That was a really. I didn't think
we
Blake
got
had
a
that in him.
call from nice Bobby Boucher about why you're hating on Will Campbell.
I'm not hating on Will Campbell. I just think that his arms are a little bit short. And if he had to move into guard, I don't think that's a bad. I never said that Will Campbell's not going to be good. I just don't think he's that flexible.
Well,
I think he plays high, and I think he's got short arms.
Why would Bobby Boucher call this line? Take the time out of his day if you weren't previously low or
because Bobby Boucher knows me too well
about Will
because
Campbell.
I said I like Kelvin Banks and Josh Simmons more than I like Will Campbell.
That's a ridiculous take also, by
It's
the
not.
way. It is.
He plays too high and he's got short arms.
Kelvin Banks plays in cement. His feet are so slow. His feet.
I
Joe,
don't agree with that.
His feet are so
all.
slow.
I don't
dude.
agree with that at all.
They're really slow.
Well, thank you, Blake, for calling in and doing that. That was a very good impression. I didn't know what to expect. That was tremendous.
Ron's in here hacking it up too. Water anyone?
Jeez.
Now here comes. This is
Pick
what
up
you
the
do.
emojis.
You do
Yeah, we're back. I forgot Ron existed, and now
You
he's
do
back in here.
one Waterboy line, and then everybody remembers. It's a very memorable movie. I love the Waterboy. I'm not going to bash the Waterboy tonight, but the Waterboy, everyone getting in and trying to do the voice. It's not going to be mama. Like this is what everyone does. It's like
All
the
right,
Borat version.
No more Boucher impression. Do we have
I
another
would
one?
like maybe the Jamie Williams to do a Bobby Boucher impression.
No, we don't need more. Bobby
I want to
Boucher.
see.
I want
what a
other
real-
impressions. I want. Let's be creative here. No.
I want to see all the hacks take their shot.
No,
Take a
hold
shot.
on,
I
hold
want
on.
Bobby in Joe's ears
Hold on.
every show.
Hold on. I want to hold our listeners accountable. I want them to be creative. I don't want them all doing a Bobby Boucher impression. I don't want that. I want everybody to give a different, their best impression that they can do. I'd take 10 Kermit the Frogs before I took 10 Bobby Bouchers because we asked for only Bobby Boucher.
Everybody can do a Bobby Boucher, and that's the fun part. Not everyone can do the Kermit. I'm not even going to attempt the Kermit. David Flacco-Berry way off. How Happy Gilmore was better. No. Waterboy clears Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore more iconic.
Yeah,
Waterboy,
I think I agree with that.
Waterboy a better movie, top to bottom. Ron, Tommy Boy better than both.
Tommy Boy's better than both.
Tommy Boy better than
great
both.
movie.
It plays too much
God.
on TV though.
That is true. If we ever need a movie to watch next time we're high, I think we need to watch
Tommy Boy rules. I love Tommy
Best
Boy.
movie to watch when you're high.
I get oddly emotional about Tommy Boy. It's just a really
that I
good
wasn't
movie,
expecting.
man. Oh, Miss Farley, man.
All right, no other voicemails. You didn't answer my question earlier when I asked you. You got really mad at me.
That was our voicemail.
Okay, thank you.
Today's show.
One of these about Shannon Sharp, we are not going to answer. We're not answering any Shannon Sharp questions. That is not
Rack
a good
wants your
situation.
thoughts.
No, that is not a good situation.
I don't want to give my thoughts either.
I do not want to
touching
be
it.
on the record giving my thoughts on the Shannon Sharp situation.
Neither
Rack,
do
you know
I.
what you're doing. But I will answer the other one that he asked. Who is at Joe DeLeone and at Sanderson Radio's favorite OnlyFans models? Bonus points if you can guess Ryan's and Joe Soralo's picks as well. I texted with Joe about this. Of course, Joe is such a egotist that he said himself was who his pick would be.
You know he's tried. You know he's really thought about starting one before.
Yeah, he has. That's not
Well,
even.
he's
That's
really started one.
Yeah. Well, no, he hasn't started one, but we've had conversations about it. I told him that he should do it.
That's annoying. That
He was too much of a coward to do it. He feels himself that much. He almost did.
Tell you what, I let go. I'm selling feet pictures. I'm letting everybody know.
No
right
one
now.
wants this. You told me this already. No one is buying your hairy, monstrous feet.
My feet aren't hairy. My feet are very clean, actually.
You understand that I don't have a foot fetish, but you understand that the foot fetish thing is the dainty feminineness of the feet.
There's a freak out there
You
that would
know.
go bonkers
No, okay.
over some size.
You're
17
selling them.
feet.
You're selling them to one person.
Yeah.
One person that you need
Yeah.
to find.
All I need is one whale to keep me above
No,
water.
you don't, because there's no scarcity. They're the only person supplying demand.
There is nobody else out there, to my knowledge, and I've
you
done
are
no
putting-
research on this point. I don't know if there's anyone else out there that's selling size 17 feet pictures. Absolute mammoth
Because no
feet.
one wants them.
What do you mean no one wants them?
size
What are you talking
17
about?
feet pictures.
Screw you. The
No
porn
one-
world, everyone wants something. You
Okay.
don't know how
But
depraved
the
these
whole
sick
foot fetish
individuals
thing
are.
is based off of feminine-looking feet.
What are you, Mr. Foot? Is that what you're deep in the foot game
I'm
now?
Not,
Oh,
but I'm smart enough to
you're giving
understand
me
how that works.
You're giving me reports on what I can do in the foot community.
There are times when you walk into this apartment and you take your shoes off, and I know it was a sweaty day because the whole apartment smells like your shoes.
Am I smelling? Am
Sean
I
used
selling
to
the smell of my shoes?
Gas our apartment in college.
Yeah,
with
that's rough.
If your feet smell like that, they can't look good.
I'm trying hard. I just threw out those old Reeboks, by the way, the old ones. I mean, that was just the stupidest move I could have done in existence. Is just keeping them.
Yeah,
but they were good. But they were such beaters in the winter. Like I wasn't gonna try to beat up a bunch of new shoes.
When you got naturally smelly feet, you got to just keep.
It's rough. Them. I don't envy. Yeah. Also, I've been like constantly apologetic about that, and I'm trying to. Broadcasting in shoes. Broadcast in shoes every show.
I didn't realize that. I appreciate that.
You're barefooted.
Must be nice. Smell my feet.
Must be nice.
My feet are better looking than your feet.
All I do. What kind of statement is that? I'm not even going to address that. Your feet are going into the mass populace. You're going to be fighting in the middle.
I think that
in the bell curve, put me on the far end.
As David Flaccoberry has pointed out, he will pay you not to show your feet. I think that's what your market is. I think you need to go around threatening people to show them your feet, and then you get them to pay you to not show your feet. That's how you make money.
Am I on Earth 2 right now?
No.
Where bigger is better in porn? Yes or no? Are you seeing a bunch of 5-inch? Are you seeing a bunch of 5-inchers plowing in these videos?
Who's jerking off to man feet? Who's jerking off to man feet?
Probably men.
If you're a man jerking off to man feet, you're probably looking for not massive 17. I don't know.
I bet they start with the nice dainty size 10s. But how porn addiction works is it's never enough because you get desensitized to the dainty. I'm sorry, I understand how porn works and you don't, but you understand how feet work.
I don't think that anyone wants to jerk
out
off
of your dome. I don't think I couldn't imagine they would also.
I thought that your premise was that you would sell it as if you were a woman. You would just
if I was a woman?
You just be like, hey, I'm a woman with really big feet. Go to town.
What does that do?
Because
I'm sure they do fine.
Because there's a
I'm
much
talking about
market.
me right now.
Okay, but that is some ridiculous hubris to believe that you think that you'd have men lining up to jerk off to your enormous feet.
It's unique. If there's a lady that is incredibly gifted,
at least if you're going to do the feet
in the breast department or the ass department, they're probably going to get some more views.
At least if you're going to pull this maneuver, you got to pretend to be a woman with really big feet.
Why do you hate my gifts? I'm not going to sell myself as a woman.
It's not a gift.
That would be even actually, I have an ethical problem with that. I have more of an ethical problem of trying to sell feet pictures.
Also, you're selling
pretending to be a woman than I would just being myself as a man. I would attach my name to it. I would. I'm not going to be just some pseudonym.
You're also selling yourself out here that if your first thought is I need to sell my feet, that there's nothing else that you would sell that no one else would sign up to pay for. No one wants to see you naked, so you'd have to sell your feet. Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing.
I think that there would be more.
What's your contingency plan?
I think that there would be more men attracted to your build than they would be to your feet.
I'm built bad. No. These feet, it's just a foot.
All right. Do we have an answer for this question? I don't have an answer for this question. Favorite OnlyFans model? I don't know.
God, you're an irritant. I'll give a deep cut here. Why not? We've already gone way past the meter of what I thought that this show was going to be this evening.
Should have wrote this down.
My favorite, Emily Cherie is my favorite. Insano build. Insane build.
I actually don't know who that is.
All I'm going to say, insane build.
All right, I don't know who that is. All right, let's get one more football question in here. Okay. Will we see two? I don't have an answer for this question. I don't have an answer for this question.
You're a rat bastard.
I don't have an answer for this question.
We'll just take a film star.
I don't have an answer for this question. I plead the fifth.
You are.
I plead the fifth.
Unbearable.
My credit card statements might say otherwise. We will see a two. Will we see a 2 or possibly 3 sport athlete like Bo Jackson in your lifetimes? From Bison Rants.
God, I hope so. I would love to see somebody that could pull it off.
I just think that right now at the current moment, we are so specialized with these kids when they're coming up and they're playing sports that the minute that a kid's a little bit good at something, they're automatically picking that one sport. I think that we're more likely to see another Travis Hunter than we are to see a Bo Jackson.
Yeah, it's the specialized stuff. Like once I was going to baseball camps and I started seeing a bunch of pitcher onlys, like trying out and trying to make it that way, and they just weren't hitting, and I'm just a PO, that was concerning because it should just be baseball. It should just be athletes playing the sport, and you play more sports, you get better at whatever sport you actually want to be in. I don't know. Maybe we'll see an absolute dominant athlete come through, but I don't think we've been able to, and it's going to be a while. I can't predict it. I'm looking at Emily Chiridi.
Jesus. 201-834-4308. Folks, thanks for tuning in. We will be not back on Thursday. Next show to be determined. I'm thinking that we probably go on Sunday. Friday's probably going to be a tough stretch for you, right?
Yeah, you're going to have to pull me out of my goon cave.
Oh, jeez.
Kidding.
See, the disturbing thing is that his room is a good cave. All right, we'll talk to you guys later.